An inmate from Fort Dix prison quietly revealed something that immediately raised alarms, something that clearly was never meant to leave those walls. Almost overnight, footage of Diddy inside the prison began spreading across social media, showing a version of him the public was never supposed to see. At the same time, whispers started circulating that Diddy wasn't just serving time, he was being actively targeted. This all happened just weeks after 50 Cent's explosive Netflix documentary aired, a project that didn't just rehash old rumors, but introduced new testimony and evidence that connected Diddy to crimes people thought were buried years ago. As the video begins, the narrator makes it clear that this story isn't about one incident or one rumor. It's about everything that has happened since Diddy entered the system, from his daily life behind bars to a criminal investigation that quietly restarted just last week. What looks like a routine prison sentence on the surface quickly starts to feel like something far more dangerous, and by the time viewers realize what's unfolding, the tone has already shifted. This isn't about celebrity downfall anymore. It's about survival. At first glance, Diddy's prison life almost looks normal. The footage shows him reporting for work like any other inmate, calmly taking off his jacket and scarf before settling into a job inside the prison's media library. He isn't lifting weights in the yard or scrubbing floors. He's handing out books, recommending movies, and helping inmates find religious materials. According to those familiar with the facility, the library sits inside what used to be the prison chapel, now repurposed as part of a Life Connections program designed to shorten sentences through rehabilitation and spirituality. Compared to where he started, working in the laundry room, this role feels like a clear upgrade. Some speculate it wasn't random, hinting that Diddy may have used influence or favors to secure a safer, more comfortable position. On camera, he appears relaxed, even smiling, blending in as if this is just another chapter he can manage. But the narrator makes it clear, this calm image is deceptive. Because while Diddy might look settled and protected in this role, the reality lurking behind that footage tells a much darker story. Behind the quiet library shifts and polite interactions, Diddy is living with constant fear. According to multiple sources, he has been attacked or threatened several times over the past year, narrowly escaping serious harm. One incident stands out above the rest. Diddy reportedly woke up in his cell to find a man standing over him with a sharp object pressed against his throat. This wasn't a random outburst, and it wasn't meant to end his life. If that had been the goal, he never would have woken up at all. This was a message. A warning that he is vulnerable and being watched. The narrator explains why Diddy is such a high-value target inside prison walls. His charges, even when explained legally, place him in one of the most dangerous categories in prison culture. Add to that his wealth, his fame, and the clout that comes with being the man who hurt a celebrity, and the danger multiplies. In that environment, every day becomes a calculation. Who to trust, who's watching, and who might be waiting for the right moment. To understand why these threats matter, the video pulls viewers back to the charges that put Diddy behind bars in the first place. Federal prosecutors initially brought the case under RICO statutes, laws designed to dismantle criminal organizations, not lone individuals. And yet, despite the scope of the investigation, only one name was formally charged: Diddy's. That alone raised eyebrows. RICO cases are rarely built around a single person, and the absence of other defendants suggests something unfinished. The narrator lays out the implication carefully. Diddy may know more than he's saying, and others may be very invested in keeping it that way. Court transcripts reveal that even judges acknowledged he is a known target, referencing earlier attempts to harm him. The pressure isn't just physical, it's psychological. Every threat, every close call reinforces the same message: stay quiet, because if Diddy ever decides to talk, the consequences could reach far beyond him.
Reporting for work in the library, where he is making recommendations and handing out different movies and books for his fellow inmates.
I'm really fascinated just by the library
But
itself.
you're seeing him here. This is him reporting to work, taking off his jacket, taking off his scarf, and settling in for a day on the job.
It looks like a public school library.
Yeah.
It's
This was the chapel, and this is the media library in the chapel, which is where Diddy's currently working. He's working in a Life Connections program, which is an 18-month program that helps rehab people and get them closer to spirituality, to charity groups, and with that, it will shorten his sentence. But in this media library, he helps inmates with religious material, rent out movies, that kind of stuff. You see him pushing a
really
cart
interesting
with a TV on it.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the laundry room when he first got there.
Yeah,
this got to be
his first
This
assignment.
got to be a promotion.
Yeah.
It feels like a promotion. It feels like maybe he tried the lunchroom and put in a request for something
Making
different.
it clear that he's living
this
under
immediately-
constant pressure and fear.
He is claiming that his throat was nearly in prison. According to Diddy, he was asleep in his cell and he woke up to a man standing over him with a shank at his throat. It's important to understand that this incident was not an attempted murder. If this person wanted to Diddy, he never even would have seen it coming until he was bleeding out of his throat. This was a warning, and this was a mark of things to come for Diddy. First off, Diddy is down on a bad charge, and it doesn't matter that it's not like a child charge, it's still a sex charge, and people in prison, they don't like that. Even though it's a prostitution charge and the prostitutes that he had transported across state lines were men, it's still a sex beef. That honestly is going to seem even weirder to dudes in there. Also have to keep in mind that Diddy has a lot of money, and they're going to want that money, and they're going to get that money out of him, whether he wants them to or not. Also have to keep in mind that Diddy is famous, so if you were the dude who beat up, stabbed, or clapped Diddy's cheeks, that gives you a certain amount of clout in prison.
Into keeping their names out of it.
Mark, Diddy is going to spend definitely 2+ years in a federal prison. I just want to lay this out right now. He is a target because they talked about this in court. They said somebody tried to shank him already, and that he is a big target. Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is.
Turn on him the way it has.
Already.
People that don't know when to shut the hell up. Now look, it's this Diddy thing. Look what he's saying now. Diddy been running around Fort Dix, bragging about Trump supposed to be pardoning him early next year. This is what he's telling the inmates. But I'm gonna tell you why he's telling them that. And I don't like it. See, Diddy think he's slick. See, Diddy know they on his ass. And he trying to figure out between washing clothes and all this other shit, trying to figure out how he can stay cool and stay protected.
This behavior didn't begin after he could still escape the fallout.
Damn. He don't give a damn. He literally is saying he's going to reach out to Trump to remind Trump of the things that P. Diddy has said about him for the sole express purposes of making sure that Trump doesn't pardon Diddy in the event that Diddy gets convicted of sex trafficking and racketeering. That's what 50 Cent is sworn to do. And I gotta admit to you, that's wild. Damn, you know you got an enemy there when the man want to go out of his way to contact the president, and clearly he has some kind of inroads where he can get to President Trump so President Trump can hear him. He's basically saying, yo, brother needs to go down.
Oh, yeah,
The
man.
same
Today.
pattern.
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Yes.
And he happens to put up a post of him, and, there were some pictures released of Diddy on the yard with a couple other prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to say prisoners, right?
Yeah. You know, he had Bad Boy East, Bad Boy West, that's Bad Boy Prison stuff.
Yeah. But he put up a picture of those pictures, and he said he looked too happy to me with all them handsome men around. Good morning, New York City.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Dude, how does 50 get away with this?
I don't know.
Because we were talking about, man, 50 don't lose any brand deals. He don't lose any endorsements. He can walk in and sell TV shows.
Oh, yes.
He can be in the boardroom and also be petty as hell, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Even when he sat down with us, he kind of explained a little bit about him and Diddy and the beef.
I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things
that he would do.
Right.
And make me
So
uncomfortable.
we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have that thing where we didn't have no thing. I wasn't sending nothing.
Despite the growing danger, Diddy reportedly believed he had an escape plan. Multiple inmates and insiders claim he spent months name-dropping former President Donald Trump, suggesting a pardon was already in motion. He spoke as if it were inevitable, as if his past connections would once again shield him from consequences. That belief followed him from the Metropolitan Detention Center to Fort Dix. But then came the reality check. A formal request for a pardon was sent to the White House, and it was rejected. Trump publicly denied any recent relationship with Diddy and confirmed he had no plans to commute his sentence. The narrator highlights how devastating this was, not just legally, but symbolically. The last door Diddy thought he could open was slammed shut. And according to many observers, that door didn't close on its own. Someone else made sure it stayed locked. That someone is 50 Cent. Throughout the video, his presence looms large, not as a background commentator, but as an active force. The narrator explains how 50 went far beyond trolling, dedicating time, money, and influence to ensure Diddy's case stayed in the spotlight. He contacted alleged victims directly, helped bring them into his documentary, and made it clear he would personally intervene if a pardon was even considered. When prison footage of Diddy surfaced, 50 immediately amplified it, mocking the image and questioning how comfortable Diddy appeared. Even when Diddy allegedly sent him a bouquet of flowers, a move 50 interpreted as a warning, he posted it publicly, daring any retaliation. This wasn't entertainment anymore. It was pressure, sustained, strategic pressure designed to make sure Diddy had nowhere to hide.
Even then that a pardon was unlikely.
He used to really like me a lot. I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact.
The news of the rejected pardon surfaced.
As the legal walls closed in, Diddy's financial empire began to crack. Investigators revealed that his private jet, once a symbol of excess and power, was quietly sold. The exact price was never disclosed, but estimates ranged into the tens of millions. The narrator points out what this really means. This wasn't a luxury sale. It was a necessity. Legal fees, staff payments, and mounting civil cases were draining resources fast. At the same time, law enforcement in Los Angeles quietly launched a new criminal investigation, triggered by allegations from a Florida-based music producer. New names surfaced, new jurisdictions became involved. Instead of shrinking, the case against Diddy was expanding. Every attempt to stabilize his situation only seemed to uncover more problems, pulling him deeper into legal uncertainty. Then the story reaches its most volatile territory, the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. The narrator explains how 50 Cent's documentary revisited these cases with a level of detail that reignited old suspicions. Investigators, former insiders, and law enforcement officials described timelines and connections that had never been fully explored in public. Diddy's name appeared repeatedly in testimony and transcripts, including references tied to past agreements and alleged offers. While no direct charges have been filed, the implications are heavy. Tupac's family has now hired investigators, and legal representatives have confirmed they are actively examining potential links. With an upcoming trial related to Tupac's case, Diddy's name is being mentioned again and again. These aren't internet rumors anymore. They're legal inquiries.
Of Diddy's involvement.
Following new developments in the case of the hip-hop mogul who is facing RICO charges in New York, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward to prove that.
The investigations are spreading, and the pressure on Diddy.
As the video comes to a close, the narrator brings everything together. Diddy is trapped between forces he can't control: violence inside prison, collapsing finances, expanding investigations, and enemies who refuse to let the story fade. The connections he once relied on are gone. The power he once wielded means nothing behind bars. And with every passing month, the pressure only increases. Appeals have been filed, sentence reductions discussed, but nothing is guaranteed. The video ends on a chilling note. This story is still unfolding. More investigations are active, more testimony is expected, and the next update could change everything. Viewers are left with one final thought. If this is what's already public, what hasn't surfaced yet?